So one, I want to say thank you so much for giving me your time and coming to this masterclass. It's gratitude is your superpower. So by the end of this, you should know why gratitude and having a gratitude practice is such a life-changing, wonderful addition to all the other things we do to help ourselves. But I want to start out this masterclass by telling a little story about what happened to me. So I put out all the flyers about gratitude is your superpower. And then went to work. I worked late in the evening and I was driving home and I could hear this sound coming from somewhere. I thought it was a muffler from another car. I was driving on the highway going 70 and I decided to kind of slow down to investigate what's happening. And then suddenly I lost control of my car and I had to pull over to the side. My tire had completely fallen apart and got destroyed. I'll show you a picture of the tire in a moment. And I had to end up calling my husband to come in to, one, just help me through the situation. A tow truck ended up having to come in to help me out. And in all of that, I realized the importance of a gratitude practice because during that experience, I was able to speak. I was able to clearly give directions. I wasn't freaking out, even though I literally could have died. I was able to stay calm. And even when I went to the car dealership to get my tire replaced, the one part of the story I didn't say was that tire that had fallen apart was a tire it was a brand new tire. I got it like a week ago or a week prior to that. That tire had just fallen apart. I took it back and I knew when I went in there, I was going to give them all of me, which I did not. I was able to speak clearly and calmly in a very difficult situation. And I was able to actually reflect back because I was in a car accident about a year and 2 months ago, where that was not the case. During that time, I was shaky. I was not able to clearly say what's going on. It was just a whole mess. It took me days to calm back down. And the difference between the accident that I had a couple weeks ago and the one I had a year ago was this gratitude practice and some of the other practices that I have incorporated into my life over these past several months. So it really does change the way you just react in different situations. Hello. All right. So I will go ahead and get started. I am going to share my screen if I can remember how to do it. Here we go. Share my screen. I think I click on this and share. That is just a picture of my new website that is being built currently. You all will see that eventually. But let me see if I can get to my actual presentation. Here we go. Oh, I wanted to show you my tire. So when I tell you my tire fell apart, this is a picture of, can you all see it? Can you put in the chat if you can see it or not? Or
I can't see it.
You say you cannot?
No, we cannot. We just see your.
You just see me?
We see your face. Make yourself a priority too.
Oh, no. Okay. Oh, resume share. Why is it doing that? All right, give me 1 second. Let me stop the share really quick. Oh, there we go. That's why. All right, can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. So when I tell you my tire fell completely apart, this is how the tire looked. And even in that crazy situation with my tire doing that, I was able to find the gratitude in that situation. And I'm going to keep coming back to that story just so that we can have an anchor in the situation. All right, so let me go to my slideshow. Many of you already know me, but I want to make sure I take some time to introduce myself. My name is Danielle Bruce Smith. I am a physician. I'm a family medicine and obesity medicine physician, but I'm also a life coach. And recently, I finished my yoga teacher training. And I wanted to throw in some little fun things too, if I'm talking about all that. I also love Zumba. So if you are on my Instagram, you'll see me dancing all the time. I also love walking. I had to step out for a moment because my little dog Buddy was in here trying to join us for the presentation. He is my walker. And the other big thing that I'm doing right now, I'm the CEO of Brew Wellness Collective. Brew Wellness Collective is a online wellness business, and we help people we really target people who care for other people, meaning like a lot of women or people who just in healthcare, different things like that, who are really good at doing everything for everyone else and not so great at doing that same thing for themselves. So my goal with Brew Wellness Collective is to help those people make themselves a priority. So now let's talk about gratitude. So before we really dive deep, having a clear definition of what gratitude is very important. So gratitude is the quality of being thankful, readiness to show appreciation for, and to return kindness. So why is all of this even important? It's important because we are surrounded by stress-provoking people, experiences, and circumstances. Literally, we could all name something that is stressful going on in our life. And the thing is, not only are there stressful things around us, our brains are wired to look for threats everywhere. That is very helpful, or that was very helpful when we were in the jungle and running away from lions and all that. We need to see those threats because we literally could be eaten. But now, even just now when my phone went off, that was stress hormones that just raced through my body just now. Having to be in traffic every day for however long, that's a stressful circumstance. Being a minority and having to deal with different racial issues, that is just stressful. It's stressful in general. So there are a lot of stressful situations, and our brain is wired to really look for those threats everywhere. And this leads to a lot of negative health outcomes. We have difficulty sleeping. A lot of people have high blood pressure, increased risk of infections. And that's a big thing, especially with us, we're in or out of the pandemic, I'm not quite sure. Also, one thing people don't think about is difficulty with losing weight. I had a lot of patients who will be doing all the things, but because their life was so stressful that they had a really hard time losing weight, and also depression and anxiety. And so what happens when you actually have a gratitude practice? It really starts to shift a lot of those things. So you have an improvement in your physical health, in your emotional health. You help to build out your personality. So when you're not in this chronic stress state and you're able to relax, then you're able to connect with others and your personality starts to shine through. And you have an improvement in your self-esteem. And then at a brain level, it helps you to really recognize how much you have. So in our culture, we're always trying to get the new thing. I used to always be ordering stuff on Amazon. Do we have any other Amazonaholics in the room? You can either raise your hand or say it in the chat. But I used to always buy all these things from Amazon. And after my gratitude practice, I actually realized that I now get things from Amazon. Oh, yes, I see. So now I only get things from Amazon maybe once a month, or I could just leave it in my cart until I'm ready for it, because I try to be content with what I have. I'm also able to make more positive emotions. Going back to what I said about having always seen these threats and our brain is default to the negative, when we have a consistent gratitude practice, we're able to feel more of those positive feelings. And like what I experienced, calm down in very tough moments. We're able to strengthen our social relationships. And that is huge right now with everything going on with social injustice, with the Great Resignation, which I'm a member of the resignation team. I definitely resigned from my job, my full-time job. You really want to start finding ways to increase your connections with other people. And a gratitude practice can help with that. And we talked about relieving stress and anxiety, making you physically and emotionally healthy, and it helps improve your sleep. And now, if you don't mind, I'm a science person and I won't go too in the nitty gritty of like the brains and the neurons and all that jazz. But one thing the gratitude practice does, it works at the level of, well, several different areas, but the amygdala, which is the part of the brain that tells us what is to fear, the fear center of our brain. Now, that part is very active. Anytime there's something that we should be afraid of or be worried about, that's your amygdala firing. So with a gratitude practice, you actually get your amygdala to calm down. So what is that in real life? So the amygdala or firing all the time is when you have this wonderful, beautiful thing happening. You have your children, they're going off to school, they look so lovely. And then suddenly you think, oh no, they're going to get in a car accident, or oh no, something bad's going to happen, or oh no, that's the amygdala. So you're in this joyful, wonderful situation, and then suddenly you think of all the scary things that can happen. With the gratitude practice, it helps to calm down that reaction. It still may happen here or there, but not as intense. And it gives you the ability to really sit into that happy experience and that joyful feeling. And it literally, a gratitude practice really literally restructures the wirings of the brain, in the front of the brain, the prefrontal cortex. It is now wired to see situations differently. So going back to my previous example of when I got my tire disintegrated, if I had not been doing that gratitude practice, I would have seen that as the worst thing that ever happened to me. Like it would have, I know me, I catastrophize, I make everything big, big, big. I would have made that a thing. But I was able to reframe that into, wow, I was really able to put my gratitude practice in motion or in practice. So it really, really does help having that gratitude practice at a brain level. There are very few things that can do that. And so some benefits, and I talked about this before, a gratitude practice can make the ordinary moments extraordinary. So when I've been doing, like I said, I've been doing a gratitude practice before for the past several months. For me, one of the things I'm always grateful for is just the walk with my dog. I love walking in my neighborhood, being able to talk to people, getting my exercise in, seeing the sun. When I wake up in the morning at 6:30 to walk with my little buddy, I think about, oh wow, look at this sun. That was never me. I'm generally a happy person, but this extra level of happiness I have not experienced until I was more consistent with this gratitude practice. And the gratitude practice also helps me to fully experience the joyful moments. So for example, like I said before, you have this wonderful thing happening, your child going off to go to school, but then you think about all the bad things that could potentially happen. When you're doing a consistent gratitude practice, yes, you might have a thought here or there, but it's not something that is going to ruminate. It might come and go, and that's how you want it to be. So I want to take a moment just to check in to see what type of gratitude practice everyone has. So I'm going to stop sharing. Oh, here it is. Let me stop sharing. So if you want to raise your hand or unmute, has anyone ever had a gratitude practice that they did consistently in the past? Or you can put it in the chat if you want. Okay, let's see. I'm going to take you off of mute. Ask to unmute. Bridget, you can just unmute yourself and start talking.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I am enjoying this so far. I got your information because I was on the cancer symposium where you spoke, and your personality is so infectious. So, but I decided to join in. I totally agree about having an attitude of gratitude, so to speak. And for me, my faith drives my gratitude.
Yes.
Because I am of the mindset every day that I'm thankful for everything, and to not take anything for granted. And it makes a world of difference, as you just mentioned, how we react to situations,
Yes.
um, realizing that it could always be worse, and just thankful that, hey, I came out on top of this. It's okay. And to learn not to sweat the little things. But I think that's just my faith that drives my attitude of being grateful and having gratitude.
Yes, I
Thank
love
you.
that. Thank you so much for sharing that, Bridget. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad that you were able to come. I just did that talk a few
Yeah,
days ago.
yeah, you did.
So thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being here and saying such wonderful things and contributing in such a great way.
Thank you.
All right. Jordan, tell me about your gratitude experience.
Hey, Tammy.
Hi, Jordan.
Um, so there's times where I'll get disappointed or sad, and I try to, instead of focusing on what's disappointed me or made me sad, I think about all the other things in life that I've been blessed with and fortunate to have. So there's moments throughout the day where I'll just kind of pause and just say thank you, God, because I know that like Bridget was just saying, life could be a lot worse. And God has chosen to favor me and bless me. So instead of just dwelling on unfortunate things that happened to me, for example, last year, as you know, I had totaled my car, and
Mhm.
it was really a traumatizing accident. I'd never been in an accident before, and I was in a lot of pain. And once I was able to calm down, I just had to say thank you, God, because I could have been taken away from this earth in that accident. But
Yeah.
instead, he kept me because he has something bigger for me.
Mm.
So just every once in a while, taking a moment and just thanking him for the things that he does for me on a day-to-day basis is just how I show gratitude, and just kind of realizing that I am blessed and that at the end of the day, I will always have God on my side.
Yes, Jordan. Yes, Jordan. That was so good. And you actually are bringing up a point that I'm going to talk about later. Ways of enhancing your gratitude practice is saying it out loud, acknowledging what you're grateful for out loud, or just saying thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you to whomever did the great or thing that you're grateful for. Speaking the thing that you're grateful for out loud helps to magnify or enhance the practice. Sharon, you had your hand up. Did you want to say something?
Thank you so much. I believe that Bridget and Jordan both really captured the essence of my comments. Let me turn my camera on. Faith is so very important. And I know that through God, I can conquer a lot of the stressors in my life, because I know I don't have to walk through life alone. I have Him guiding me every day. I have Him as my rock and my foundation. And
Yes.
so I'm sure you're probably going to be covering aspects of gratitude, but I think faith, as has been spoken here tonight, is very important. And that has helped me through so many stressors, so many difficult times in my life. And my love of the Lord gives me that attitude of gratitude. So that's just to add to what so many of your participants have said this evening. And also thank you for your last webinar as well. I was also on the cancer webinar and really appreciate all of your information and your expertise. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Sharon. And then Benita, I just wanted to read what you said in the comments. She said, I wouldn't say an intentional practice, but gratitude is always on the top of my mind. When issues pop up in my life, I look for the lesson and the blessing. So I love that, because a lot of times with the gratitude practice, yes, you can journal it out and do all that. but it's very helpful to be able to carry it with you wherever you go. So that in a situation, you can, in your thoughts, think about, what is the lesson in this? What is the blessing in the situation? What is there to be grateful for in whatever situation you're in? So, so important. Thank you so much for sharing that, Benita. And then Deidre, please. I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Good evening, everyone. This will be very, very brief. And I love what Sharon Berrien said. And in fact, I used to work with Sharon at the Florida League of Cities. So, but what I really wanted to say is that, in essence, what everybody else said, but I wanted to add that a lot of times I'm just saying in general, people have a tendency to complain. And sometimes, you don't even know that you might be complaining or somebody else may be complaining. But when you have a mindset and you're grateful and you're thankful, that changes things. So I think it's really, like you said, where you looked at the brain and things like that. And, it's really it's a mindset. It's a mindset of saying that, thank God that I'm grateful for what I have. And that's where that faith comes in. So the only real comment that I wanted to add, because I think everyone has, very eloquently mentioned the same thing, but I think that the world that we live in, this world tends to focus on not having the attitude of gratitude. So we have to stay in our faith to make sure we don't fall into, some of the things that the world has.
That is such a beautiful way. Thank you so much for that comment. First, thank you so much for that. I completely agree. When you watch the news, it's filled with, like, literally you can watch an hour of every terrible thing that's ever happened in the world, and they might do one segment about one positive thing that happened in the community. If I know I've been around people who are complainers, and I have to limit some of my time in those situations because that can rub off on me. Though I am grateful that I have this gratitude practice, I'm also very conscious of my own energy and my environment. So I understand the fact that there are a lot of people who complain a lot. So really having that gratitude practice that's grounded, whether it's in your faith or whether it's just the gratitude practice itself, whatever that is for each individual person, is so, so important. It helps to just change the way you're thinking. Because if we go off of just what's happening in front of us, we will be sad and crying all the time, because there's always something that we could be sad about. So it's shifting how we see the world and how we see different situations that makes it a lot different. So thank you everyone for contributing their insight. I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint again, if I can figure out how. Here we go. And share. Nitro. All right. So now I just want to talk some of the components of a gratitude practice. I love that it is so simple. It is actually very simple. So with the components of a gratitude practice, you can journal or literally think about experiences that you're grateful for. I like the journaling part. Yes, you can think about it, and especially when you're in that situation, have that moment to reflect and really think about it. But having that journal, whether you're using a physical journal or writing it in your computer, can be very powerful as well, because you're not only writing that down and having that experience in that moment, but then you can go back and look at it later. So if you're having a day that is, sometimes we have just a bad day, going back to look at some of the positive things that have happened to you in the past and how you've been helped, how you've been blessed, is so powerful. So taking a moment to write those things down, whether you're writing it down, or for me, I have a sticky note on my computer. And when I go to work, I literally type out 3 things I'm grateful for. Or if I'm not at work, I have a journal and I write it out. So either way, I can go back to reflect. And then you can make a list. Some people do 3, some say 10. When you're starting the practice, just writing down 3 experiences is perfect. And not just writing down the experiences and think about it, take a minute and pause and really think about the emotions associated with that experience. So what did you feel? Of course, you felt grateful. You felt blessed. Were you happy? What were some of the feelings that were evoked in that experience? And not just after the experience, how did you feel before whatever experience happened? So before, you might have been sad or upset. You had some experience that shifted things for you, and now you feel different. So really knowing how the different changes that happen in your body because of gratitude. And it can be done any time of the day. I tell people, try to have some consistent time when they do it. So whether you do it in the morning, like for me, when I'm at work, as soon as I open my computer, I take a minute to reflect on my previous day and I type it out. So it's not something that takes a very long time to do, but really having some kind of pattern. So because it can be done anytime during the day, you might forget it. So having a consistent way that you do it is very, very helpful. And then how can you make your gratitude practice more impactful? So state how you felt before the gratitude situation, and then state how you felt after, and then talk about the important details. So we'll talk about that more in just a moment. And then other ways of making your gratitude practice more impactful is sharing that experience with others. So like we're doing right now, we're talking about different experiences that have happened, and we're able to put ourselves in that other person's shoes and really experience, like when Jordan talked about her accident, actually, I think me and Jordan were in separate car accidents a few weeks apart. So when she was describing that, I was literally thinking about how grateful I was to walk out of my own accident. So when you hear from other people's experiences, you put yourself in that. So now you're getting those same benefits. You can also perform some deep breathing to just calm your system so you can be alert and present when you are thinking about your previous grateful activities. And then stating that gratitude out loud. So saying thank you. Yesterday, actually, I had somebody contact me about a business deal, and then someone asked me to be on a podcast. And literally it happened at the exact same time. I got messages at the exact same time. I literally screamed out, "Thank you, Lord," very loudly. And that definitely can add more impact to your gratitude practice. And then there have been lots of studies that looked at a gratitude practice in general. And the most powerful practice is when you receive gratitude from another person. And you don't have to go around and wait for it or whatever. That's why listening to other people's experience is important. So I think this is a good thing to talk about now because, one, you can give people gratitude by telling them how they have affected you or how they have helped you. But then as you are doing that in the world, other people start doing that to you, and you become more aware of when people are giving you these things. A lot of times when you do something nice for someone and they're trying to say thank you back, we are like, oh, no. Receive it. Receive it. Receive when someone is trying to show their gratitude. Take that moment, take it all in. They're trying to give you this appreciation. So be open to it. And then you can also write a letter. So I got married like a year plus ago, and I had to write out all those thank you letters. And I wanted to do that. It wasn't I had to, I chose to do it because I was so grateful for all those people to travel to be with me and my husband. It was in the midst of the pandemic. So they came, even though they didn't know if they were going to get COVID or not. Luckily, no one did. But I was thankful and I was grateful for every single person that was there who supported us in that journey. So writing it out and writing a letter, we don't really write letters anymore, but getting into the practice of doing that as well to other people can really enhance the gratitude practice. So just overall, we live in a very stressful culture and a stressful world, and our brains are wired for the negative and for dangers, which leads, of course, to all these different stress responses in the body that we talked about before. But when you have a consistent gratitude practice that takes like a minute to 5 minutes a day to complete, it literally changes the connections in your brain. It shifts different hormones. It changes the way your brain sees different situations, and it decreases that negative default pathway that we have. It increases our positive feelings, and it helps to improve our positive health outcomes. And this is why I feel like gratitude can be a superpower. There are very few things that we can do every day that have these benefits and that don't have the negative side effects. Yes, you can take, you need to take your medicine. Don't stop taking your medicine because you're doing a gratitude practice. Don't say, Dr. Bruce said I can just do my gratitude practice, my blood pressure gonna go away. No, she didn't. So, but it can definitely help to change and just shift the way you're experiencing the world, and can increase some of the happiness. And with an intentional practice, a consistent practice, it really does make everyone's experience a lot better. So again, I'm going to pause just to check in to see if anyone has any questions before I talk about my group program that I'm going to do. All right. Any questions or comments about anything? If not, I will keep going. No worries if they're not. It's just I can't see people when I'm sharing the screen. All right. So now let's talk about a way for us to practice gratitude together, because together we thrive. Close your eyes. There we go. So what I've created with Brew Wellness Collective is a 14-day gratitude program. And the benefits of this program, it will help you to establish a gratitude practice. Oh, can now see you. Can you all see the screen?
Yes.
You can?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, so it will help you to establish your practice, and it can also help you to have reminders and accountability. So I can confess that I tried doing a gratitude practice many years ago. It was actually in 2018. And the reason why I know it was in 2018 is because I got a beautiful, cute little journal, 5-minute gratitude journal, mark the dates in there. I did it for like 3 days and then I stopped. Then I did it for like a week and then I stopped. And then I found that journal because I lost it. I found it about 2 months ago, and I realized I hadn't written in that journal since 2018. So it really does help to do it in a group so that you can have that accountability and those reminders. And it can also enhance the experience because you get to reflect and hear the stories of other people. You can learn about new perspectives from hearing from other people's experience. And this program is very inexpensive. It's $33. It is from November 10th through the 23rd. So it's going to end right before Thanksgiving. So you're going to be super grateful and thankful before you go into the Thanksgiving holidays. You'll have, when you are with your family saying what you're grateful for or thankful for, you can just rattle off whatever you want to say because you'll have a long list of things that you're grateful for. And in this program, we'll have 4 different times to connect. It'll probably be like 30 minutes. Where we'll just sit and talk about the different things that we've noticed, how we've seen different situations differently, how are we able to either receive or give gratitude to other people. And then we'll have different focuses for our gratitude practice. For me, part of my focus is being grateful for what my body is able to do, because I'm going to ask very difficult things of my body in the next couple months. So my focus for the practice is going to really start being intentional and thankful for the little things that my body does for me every single day. So in these different settings, we will talk about it, and I can give you different insights or different focuses to look at for the days in between. So the way it works, November 10th, I believe, is a Thursday. The 14th is a Monday. The 17th is a Thursday, and the 21st is a Monday, and we'll meet at 7:30. There'll also be a private Facebook group, so you can use that as accountability. You don't have to type in there, oh, I'm grateful for this, this, and that. I will make a post every day for day 1 of the gratitude practice. If you just want to simply put done, you can do that. If you want to type in something, you can. I will put in my information. I'll be open, but no one has to do that. You just need to put in there that you have done the practice as a way of being accountable. And I will try to check and see who's in there as well. And if I see someone has not checked in, I'll just gently nudge and remind, hey, what's going on with your practice? Are you just doing it in your mind? But that's not all we're doing. I love a contest. So anyone who is in the 14-day gratitude program will have different chances of being entered into a drawing. And that drawing is to win 6 weeks of private coaching with me for free. Private coaching with me for 6 weeks is $1,500. So someone will get to win this for free. And so how do you get entered? 1, you got to sign up for the program. 2, each time you attend one of the Zoom calls, you get entered into the drawing. You also, every time you post into the Facebook group, that day, don't post 50 times in a day and you get 50 entries. So each day you post, you get entered. And then following Brew Wellness Collective, my business on Instagram and Facebook, gives you an entry. So you have multiple different chances to win this 6-week private coaching with me. And we can make this coaching experience on whatever you like. Whether you want to work on weight, some people like doing morning routines, they want to work on boundaries, whatever it is you want to be coached on, I will literally cultivate this program just for you. And then the winner will be selected on Black Friday. So I've said lots and lots of words. Again, I'm gonna stop my share and check in with everyone to see how you're doing. And actually, I'm gonna post, if I can, yeah. If you're interested in the offer, I put the link to sign up in the chat, but I'll also send an email about this later. So does anyone have any comments or questions or reflections, anything like that they'd like to share?